This presentation is on glass blowing. That's called glass blowing. Where did it come from and where is it going? It's based on an article from Aramco World magazine called Hebron's Glass History. And Aramco's a really, for those of you who don't know, Aramco's World magazine is a really nice resource on the Arab and Muslim world. It's a free magazine that you can have delivered to your home. And they also have a very good website and a really nice archive as well, visual and articles. So here we go. Ahmed Netche picked up his English from the tourists who visited the workshop over the years, including former President Jimmy Carter. Founded as long as 8,000 years ago, Hebron is one of the world's oldest continuously inhabited cities, believed by Jews, Christians, and Muslims to be the burial place of the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and their wives. It's regarded by all three faiths as a holy city. And its name in Arabic, Al-Khalil, means friend. At 900 to 950 meters above sea level, or 1460 to 1540 above sea level, feet above sea level, the city enjoys one of the best climates in the region, traditionally famed for grapes, ceramics, pottery, as well as glassware. Damascus and Cairo were key in the trade of the glass blown works. Now most of the glass produced in Hebron is exported elsewhere and abroad as well, like over to the Western Hemisphere. Hebron's medieval reputation in glassmaking is corroborated by some of many Christian pilgrims who visited the city over the centuries. There is one friar around 1350, the German friar named Felix Faber, and his companions that stopped in the exceedingly ancient city, as they called it, and he described how we came forth from our inn and passed through the long street of the city in which people of diverse crafts dwelt, but more particularly workers in glass. For at this place, glass is made not clear glass, but black, and of the colors between dark and light. Now, we might wonder, what is it exactly about the city of Hebron in Palestine that stimulated both the production and the trade of this exquisite yet functional material? The answer is geological, geographical, and religious. Hebron's immediate environs provide sand that is well suited for glassmaking, and at the Dead Sea, just 25 kilometers or 15 miles to the east, there are both the soda ash that are essential to glassmaking, as well as the clay from which to build the furnaces, which are essential for the fire to be able to melt and create the glass vessels. The core of the glass blowing technique requires a furnace running at 1,400 degrees centigrade or 2,550 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 hours a day. So this means that people are working by day and others are working at night. Some have the graveyard shift and others are daytime workers because the furnace takes a lot of energy to just start. So it stays on most of the day. And sorry, I'm going to go back to this slide. I just wanted to mention, you see that the stained glass here in one of the mosques in Hebron is not blown glass, but the Netche family also worked on made such craft as well. They didn't only blow glass, but they also did this. And this is kind of common to find throughout the Middle East, all the way down to Yemen. So the Netche family has been working, imagine, for 700 years in this trade. Imagine what that's like. I mean, that's over 150 generations of people practicing the same craft within the same family. In the 16th century, the expansion of the Ottoman Empire into Palestine saw glassmaking flourish through commerce between Palestine and all the way up to Turkey. Hebron expatriate communities thrived in Cairo and a city named Kerak in Jordan, where they marketed the city's crafts. Now, because of the occupation of Palestine by Israel, Hebron is no longer a tourist destination as it used to be, because of the great security measures and extent of the occupation. Because there are no longer so many tourists, it created the need for the glass to be exported. So most of the glass produced by the Netche family and in Hebron is sold elsewhere. They also here have begun to make ceramic works, which are mostly painted ceramic, a little bit less of the throne pottery. But it's an example of where the exports come from. This is another kind of idea of what it looks like when you're the kind of grand picture of the glassblower's studio, if you want to call it that. You have the fans that kind of cool things down so that the person doesn't overheat themselves. And this is an example of the Neshes family products at sale or being sold, sorry, at 10,000 Villages, which is a store all over the United States, from the West Coast to the East Coast to the Midwest and down here in the South where I live. In these stores, these fair trade stores where they sell things from all around the world, from different parts of the world, you can find their ceramic works, their painted ceramic works, as well as their glass vessels. Let's keep it here for a moment. Sorry about that. There is a theory I'd like to share with you all that the origins of glass blowing originated during the time of the Ptolemaic period with ancient Greece. That is specifically the time that the Macedonian Greek royal dynasty that ruled the Ptolemaic kingdom in ancient Egypt, at the time that they made their way down the Fertile Crescent and into the Nile Valley. However, this theory on the origins of glass blowing has been debunked several times due to the findings, thanks to the excavations in the region of the Fertile Crescent, also known as the Levant by some, the countless amounts of glass-blown vessels that date back to the Phoenician civilization have been found there throughout the region, from south of Turkey, from Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, Israel. The glass vessels are easily found all over, and even if you happen to make it into a kind of more fancy Lebanese home, you would see that some people have some of these collections of small glass vessels in their house, in their living rooms on display, and they're really kind of precious and oftentimes iridescent glass. So we're going to make a little transition, since we've begun talking about Lebanon, into the Sarafand in the south of the country. In Lebanon, among the modern day countries where this Phoenician civilization existed over 2,000 years ago, the Sarafand in the south of Lebanon is a city where glassware of the glass-blowing technique specifically became well known. By about 2010, the Khalifa family that you see here, one member of whom you see, began with the glass blowing by about 2010, the Khalifa's family, the glass blowing craft was beginning to die out. This was very unfortunate because of the fact that they had been known for blowing glass for over 200 years, the Khalifa family specifically. And so the environmentalist and engineer Ziad Abi Shakir decided that he wanted to help them revive their art form because of how beautiful their local artisanal work was. These are some examples of their modern day kind of creations. Having a background predominantly in engineering and recycling, he put together a crowdfunding campaign for them, which you see here. He took the glass that his company, Cedar Environmental, had been collecting and in order to be reused or recycled within Lebanon, and he created GRIL, the Green Glass Recycling Initiative in Lebanon, to supply this family, the Khalifa family in the Sarafand, with free glass. So suddenly having a free source was encouraging for them to continue with their craft. And this is an example over here of the crowdfunding campaign on YouTube that you can check out if you have any interest in doing so. And this is an example here of different kinds of recycled glass. So this is at the Sarafand, where they blow the glass. Some of the photograph on the left is an example of some works that will be broken down and melted down in a form that you see in these old bathtubs here on the right. And eventually new glass vessels will be made in this way. This is one technique that they use to cool down the glass as it's being blown so that they can continue with shaping it. So this sprung the Khalifa family back into the traditional practice with glass and all these examples that you've just seen. And Ziad also helped them with creating new designs, such as this one and the candles that you saw earlier, vases, all kinds of different vessels, even lamps. And he also helped with the marketing and the selling of their revived glass blowing craft, and they're continuing on with this to this day. And now, as a result, they've been able to continue their work and grow despite the modern day factory glass that we see produced in China and other places, even Murano, Italy, or whatever. They have their own version of their craft and their own kind of identity, if you want. And that's about it. That's a wrap. Thank you very much all for taking the time. And I really want to thank Afikra, Mikey Mhanna, Nasreen Shahade, and all the Afikra volunteers, and Ziad Abishakir as well, for planting the seed for this presentation when we went down to visit the Sarafand, the Khalifa family a few years ago. And here are some articles that you might be interested in looking into further about glass blowing and glass collections, ancient ones and others, from the Metropolitan Museum to others. And over here, actually, just this morning, I added this before the last link because I received a link and saw I received it from a website that a friend had sent, where you could buy some cute little kind of tiers and kind of really ornaments, basically, from the Nesfa family in Hebron. And then the final link is about the Sarafand. It's a small video at the bottom, the fifth link at the bottom, about the Khalifa family in the south of Lebanon and their production, etc. One moment. And that's about it. If you're interested in contacting me about any of the articles or anything, feel free to do so via email, Instagram, or through my website. And this will be recorded, so I think you'll be able to kind of link to the those links, to the YouTube video that will eventually be on Afikra's library on their website. And that's about it.